Okay, hi everyone. In this video, this is a reply to an email which I got from a guy called Joe. In the email it says, "Hi Dom, I'm trying to decide on a new camera body. He recently bought the Canon T2i, which is, to other people, that is the Canon 500D. I don't think it's, or maybe that's what I've got, the 550D, for photos and videos. I realised I don't like video. Strange. I also don't like Canon in my hands. That's an unusual one. The price limit I'm looking for in a body is around $1,000. Okay, dollars I don't really know that much about, so I'm going to have to just imagine you said £1,000, because I think it's pretty much the same. I used to shoot a 20D, but sold it a few years ago. I held the Nikon D3 and loved the feel of it in my hands. I noticed the D300 is within my price range. I plan on getting a D3S down the road when it gets upgraded. I want to be blah 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 blah. Oh, here's what I want to make this a paying hobby, but not there yet. Is a D300 worth it, or should I look for something else? I love doing concerts, candids, bands, plays, basic low light, no flash stuff. The reason I'm sick of Canon. The reason is I'm sick of Canon coming out with a new body so quick. I also figure that it's a good time to switch, as I don't have any good glass from Canon. Thank you for your time, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so let's go into that. I recently bought the Canon T2i for photos and videos. Brilliant camera. I think it's what I've got, the Canon 550D. Photos 16 million or 18 million pixels, and video full 720p at 60 frames a second if you want, so that's pretty cool for slow motion. And you can put Nikon lenses onto the Canon body, which is a real score, which you can't do with Canon lenses onto Nikon bodies. You can't do that. And he said, but he didn't, I realised I don't like video. Okay, that's fine. If you're not planning on really going that far in your photography, you don't really need to worry about video that much at all. Video is definitely something which everyone is going to have to learn a bit about in the future. Video is here and it's here to stay, and I don't know a single professional photographer at the moment who isn't being asked to do some form of video along with their photo shoots. Whether it just be behind the video, but behind the scenes photo stuff and video stuff, or whether it be full on documenting from start to finish and all that kind of stuff. Pretty much every photographer that I know has always been asked that. They're not necessarily having to do it yet, but they're all being asked for that. And if a photographer is having to say, right, okay, I'll get a professional video guy in, then that's effectively money coming out of their pocket. So maybe in the future, maybe not now, but in the future, definitely think about video as something that you might want to just at least know how to work, at least know what it means and how to use it quickly and easily. Okay, so but you're not interested in video, that's fine. I didn't like the Canon in my hands. So okay, this is quite a small camera in comparison to the D3, which you mentioned later on. In fact, it's tiny compared to the D3. And the D300 is obviously a lot bigger than this, and will feel a lot more sturdy, and is made out of like a solid aluminium super mega steel. So the D300 will definitely feel a lot better in your hands, I assume. For the $1,000 or pounds, yeah, the D3, well, you're not going for the D300 anymore, it's the D300S, or you've got the D7000 at the moment, if you're going for Nikon. The D7000, again, I would say you probably won't feel that being quite as cool in your hands as what the D300S would feel. D300S being a little bit more professional than the D7000, the D300S will be a better camera in your hands. So I'd say go for that one before you go for the D700S. I plan on getting a D300 down the line. Okay, that's cool. I want to make this a paying hobby, but not there yet. Well, the fact is, anyone can be there with making photography a paying hobby. All you need to do is have people buying your photos. You don't need to necessarily be selling to massive magazines or to millions of people. you can certainly just put your photos on to one of the photo sharing websites like Photobox, and there you can put your prices on it. For example, I do a lot of my, say, weddings or children portraits on Photobox, and then people buy the photos off there. Maybe on each photo I make 25 pence. But if you sell 100 photos, then that's cool. That means you've made £25 or £2.50. One or another, can't remember. So yeah, so you can do that with pretty much any photos or any camera that you want. So don't think that it's not a paying hobby. It can be a paying hobby straight away. Or should I look at something else? Well, other than the D300, then it's the Canon 7D. Really, I'd say those are the two options. Or if you're wanting to really kind of go away from the two big brands, being Canon and Nikon, you can either go with the Sony or the Pentax. Sony has got the, what have they got? The 850, but I think that's probably out of your price range. But Pentax has got a really good one that's come out, which is the K5, I think. So that's one that's getting a huge ratings for the quality of its sensor in the camera. If you go to the what website is it? It is DxO Mark. If you go to that link, DxO Mark, that'll take you to the website which does all the kind of reviews of the different types of cameras, and there is more about their sensors. So definitely have a look at that to look at the different types of sensors that you're looking for. But anyway, back to your question. I love doing concerts, candids, bands, plays, basic low light stuff. Okay, with that you're probably going to want something with a good ISO, or it's certainly a low noise performance. D300S is fine. Probably the Sony or the Pentax might be doing a little bit better than them. No flash stuff. Low light, no flash stuff. Okay, so places where you're not allowed to use flash. Yeah, totally understand. Well, then it's really not so much about the camera, it's more about the good lenses that you get with it. So you're definitely getting your fast lenses, your f2.8s or faster is what you really need, rather than the camera. The lenses you will keep much longer than the camera that you buy. Now here's the bit which I do think is quite interesting, where you say the other reason I'm sick is that Canon is coming out with a new camera body so quickly. So in other words, that is kind of one of the things which is different between Canon and Nikon. Nikon really brings out a camera and leaves it there for quite a while. Meanwhile, Canon brings out a new camera almost on a weekly basis. Every month, whenever I buy a magazine, there's usually something in it where Canon has brought out another camera. But whenever Nikon brings out a camera, it's usually a big press story, because it's like, oh my goodness, Nikon's actually produced another camera. And the funny thing is, although Canon's bringing out all these cameras more and more often and quicker, it's usually Nikon that actually brings out the ones which are the most groundbreaking ones, actually. For example, Nikon was actually the first one to have HD video in their first digital SLR. They're also the first ones to have full autofocus in their video digital SLR. They were the first, so they've done a whole bunch of things where they've actually been first, but Canon have brought out an extra 2 or 3 cameras, which are a little bit better than it afterwards, and they've got kind of a little bit more attention from it. So yeah, totally understand why some people get sick of Canon, just that they bring out too many things, and it's very difficult to tell which is the latest or the best one to get. Okay, but yeah. Also figured now is a good time to switch, as I don't have any good glass from Canon. Then it's always a good time to switch. If you haven't really invested in the glass, then you can go to any other camera manufacturers at the same time and try and sell the cheap glass that you've got at the moment. So yeah, I'd say you really can't go wrong with the D300S. I think that's an awesome camera, and if you don't like Canon, that's fine, but it does make brilliant lenses and it does make brilliant cameras. But I understand where you're coming from with it, just saying it just brings out too many things at the same time. But yeah, definitely, I would agree with you. Go with the D300S if that's in your price range, and get yourself some good glass and start building up your lens catalogue that you've got, and then think about your cameras as your second importance. Hope that helps. Okay, cheers, Joe, and I'll see you later. Bye bye.